Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a whole new episode and an emergency podcast episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host Zoe with my boy on the other side, Cantu. How we doing on this Friday, dude?
You know what? I think today's Friday just got turned upside down with this huge news that the Astros just announced.
Dude, I mean, it was just out of nowhere. I mean, yesterday they were talking about, making a push for him. And then I believe John Morosi had put out a tweet saying there could be signings upcoming week or the next week of the following day. And then all of a sudden, bam, right there. I mean, you sent me the tweet, five-time All-Star Josh Hader, the Houston Astro.
Yeah, it was
Again.
sort of again, don't forget he was in the I think the Astros loved Josh Hader since the beginning. As you know, like he was in their farm system, traded him for Carlos Gomez and the other guy that should not be named, and Mike Fires. But yeah, he's reunited, and it's kind of a reverse jinx for you Astros fans because I don't know if you tuned in for the podcast this weekend. I when we're discussing um our who do we want or like who the Astros should get bullpen, key guys that they need. Before I announced mine, I was like, I'm not gonna say we're gonna get Josh Hader because I don't think the Astros get Josh Hader. And what does Daniel Brown and Jim Crane do after repeatedly saying they're not going to go over the luxury tax? They are not gonna spend big on a reliever. They kept their ace in their sleeve and they got Josh Hader.
It was kind of a hold my beer moment. Both of them said, okay,
Yeah.
hold my beer. Let me go real quick, go sign this guy and then come back. But I mean, you get a guy like this, I believe you put your bullpen at the top. It has
Yeah.
to be the top best bullpen in Major League Baseball right now. You're back in bullpen,
Absolutely.
Josh Hader, Brian Abreu, Ryan Presley. You can put either or of those guys as your closer. And you
I
see
saw a
last
tweet.
year,
Go
like
ahead.
last year too, real quick, Brian Abreu was closing them, some games when Ryan Presley had short days of rest. So, I mean, and then now you got Josh Hader. It'll be interesting what happens here. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But what are you gonna say, Angel?
Yeah, I saw a tweet that someone has said that the Astros are ending the game in the seventh inning because, like you said, that three kind of headed monster in the back in the bullpen is just lights out.
Definitely, definitely. Astro War Craig said, "I can't believe it." I mean, we agree with you. I don't think any of us saw this coming because,
Is
like
that
you
news?
said, Angel. I mean, you said it right there. You said it right there. You didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to happen either. I was going kind of a discount bargain. I said Aroldis Chapman. I don't think Astro
Yeah,
fans would like that.
that's out the window now.
But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll hear more what Jim Crane had to say about the signing as well, and of
Before
course,
we move on, was that new?
was who
Was a little, demonstration you just showed on this brand new live, a full steam
brand new
ahead
live. We
podcast?
already got a comment, and like I said, Astro Wharf Craig said, "I can't believe it."
Oh wow, okay, I like it.
Well, we're like you, we can't believe it either. But hey, this doesn't shut the window at all for the Astros now. That I think they just got a little bit better. They acquired a left-handed pitcher. I think that's what they really needed. No offense to Ben Souza or Matt Gage, but getting a dominant reliever like Josh Hader, who's just 29 years old as well, he's going to be the future of in the closing role of the Astros now, no
Correct,
doubt about it. But,
absolutely.
but but real quick, let's talk about Josh Hader, five-time All-Star, three-time Trevor Hoffman Reliever of the Year award winner, and of course Jeff Passan of ESPN had the news first. He says star closer Josh Hader and the Houston Astros are in agreement to a 5-year, $95 million contract. A source tells ESPN. He then goes on to say the deal contains no deferrals. It is the largest present-day value contract for a relief pitcher in baseball history. Then, per Joe Sherman had to say it includes a no trade clause. Hader would receive $1 million if he wins the Mariano Rivera or Trevor Hoffman Reliever of the Year award. That is the largest bonus ever associated with that award. So
Oh
the
wow.
Astros kind of are going to make him work. If he wants 1 million, I mean, if I'm in his shoes and that award is up and I get a bonus of 1 million, oh, best believe I'm going to do whatever I can to get that 1 million, and that's for the whole 5 years too.
And it kind of helps like with that little trend sometimes that happens when a big star guy. Like it gives me Robinson Cano vibes, where he signs his major contract for Seattle and just completely falls off the end of the earth. So I think that kind of like helps the Astros stay competitive and stay and keep Josh Hader stay competitive in the back end of the bullpen.
Definitely. And like Astro Wolf Craig said, I mean, if y'all have a comment, by all means, put your comments on here. We'll put it on the feed. We'll even talk about it for a little, and then of course we'll move on with our show. But I mean, Hader did turn off that qualifying offer from the Padres in November. So what does that mean? That means the Astros lose their second highest pick in 2024 and $500,000 from the international bonus pool in 2025. You saw how that bonus pool was this past year. The Astros signed 9 international prospects. I believe they're still signing some at this moment. But I mean, $500,000 is still a lot. You saw one of those guys got 900 as a bonus.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of it. It happens. But when you get a guy like this, I mean, by all means, you're going to do whatever you can. What goes
Absolutely.
next? Now the competitive balance tax for 2024 is 237 million. With the Astros signing Hader, the Astros are 17 million over the CBT. That hasn't been done since 2020. The Astros haven't gone over the CBT since 2020, and it's going to make the Astros at least a 20% tax on all overages. And then, like Angel was talking about, we talked about on the pod of the last episode that Dana Brown was talking about wanting to be a responsible spender, not being too big on a relief pitcher. Angel, I mean, I got to ask you, do you think this deal with Hader was just too good to pass up, or what are you thinking? You think it was a little too high going into it, or it was just a perfect match?
I think it was just too good to pass up, especially after Kendall Graveman went on was out for the season, because the Astros were looking, it was to be Kendall Graveman in that seventh spot, Brian Brady in that eighth spot, and then Ryan Presley as a closer. And they already had a depleted bullpen coming in. Again, losing 3 guys like Maton, Stanek, and Neris. It's just, that's big, especially how great Neris was. I don't know if you saw what type of contract he's looking for, but he's looking for a lot.
Mhm.
And adding Josh Hader, being able to work him into a trade, something that meets both, it's just, I feel like if you want to stay competitive, you just got to pull the trigger. I think that's one where you seek the reward now and reap the consequences later. I think you just deal with that, as the time comes, you make adjustments, make moves to, put you on edge. And I think the Astros have been doing this. As you see, they were kind of punished for the signing scandal. They didn't have draft picks, and what they do, sign internationally, focus on that, and get the players they need. So I think they'll find not a loophole, but they'll find a way to work with what they lost and be competitive. Because I think you're right. I think this season, since the Astros were making moves, they only added Dylan Coleman and Carantini. I feel like that people were kind of on edge with the Astros, if you always say, like, is it over? Are they gonna be competitive? And I think with the lineup they have, like the infield set, and now bolstering this bullpen, because that was a huge question mark. I think they're gonna compete, and not just in the AOS, but in the American League as well.
Yeah, I mean they got the team. The infield, you got Yainer Diaz is going to be starting as your catcher now, so you got a plus bat in the lineup. Outfield, Chas McCormick, I believe, is a top 5 center fielder in this league right now. Kyle Tucker, Jordan Alvarez. I'd like to see them sign maybe a left-handed hitter or just another power
Yeah.
bat. Just maybe it doesn't have to be too much. Maybe a Jock, maybe a Jorge Soler kind of guy. Somebody that has a bat that kind of goes in the outfield as well. But like we were saying, the Astros are over the CBT. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to continue on spending or this was just the last of it right here.
Mhm.
So it'll be interesting to see. But real quick, like I was mentioning, his annual value is 19 million each year on his contract.
Yeah.
And I got the tweet right here from Joe Sherman. It says there are no deferrals in the Hader deal, so his annual value of 19 million tops the 18.64 million that Edwin Diaz counts for luxury tax purposes on his 5-year, $102 million deal with the Mets that came up with deferrals. So if you're thinking about it, every year he's making more than Edwin Diaz, and
And
Diaz is
that's what he
one of them
wanted.
star closers. Yeah, and he wanted to be the top highest paid reliever. It might not show in that contract over 100 million, but annual value each year he's that top guy,
And
and
it could
I
even
think
be
I think he
20
deserves it.
million a year. And like you said, with the incentive, could easily be 20 million a year as well.
Yeah, so you know he's going to continue on. I mean, he's already a three-time Trevor Hoffman. He's looking to add a Mariano Rivera onto his resume. Of course, probably a World Series championship ring to his resume because that's what he's missing. But real quick before we move on to his stats, do you remember who he was traded to? Well, he was traded to Houston, but who did Houston trade in that package back with the Orioles in 2013?
Like who accompanied George Hader?
Now, who did the
The-
Astros sent to the Orioles to
That's what.
acquire Josh Hader? Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh,
Sorry about that. Yeah.
wasn't it Domingo Santana?
Nope, that
Am I
was
wrong?
Brewers. That was
That was
Brewers.
Brewers. No, I don't know.
LJ Hose and Bud
I
Norris.
remember him. I remember LJ
LJ
Hose.
Hose, the
Yeah,
legend
number
of the
zero.
number 0. Yep,
Yeah,
exactly. So, um, fun fact if y'all did not know that, but Hader last year in 2023, phenomenal job. Probably one of his best years, I'd say. 2.4 WAR with a 2.3 record, 56 and a third of innings pitched. 1.28 ERA. He collected 33 saves with the Padres. And this is the good numbers that you would like to see in a reliever: a 163 opponent batting average, and a 224 opponent slugging percentage. Josh Hader's career all-time ranks, and this is per Ryan M. Spader from on Twitter. He had said he has a 15.01 strikeout per 9 innings, a 42.21 strikeout percentage, a 31.99 strikeout to walk ratio percentage, and a 156 batting average against. All those ranked are number 1. That is a phenomenal number that you like to see from your relievers. And I mean, this guy, I feel like he's going to do a great job in an Astros uniform. Like I said before in the show, the Astros needed to upgrade on a lefty. That was one thing Dusty really didn't have in his bullpen last year, was a left-handed pitcher. I mean, you could say the Parker Mashinskis, you could say the Matt Gages, you can say the Ben Souza. What Ben Souza did a phenomenal job himself, but you needed that power lefty to go against hitters like, especially guys like Corey Seager. Cal Riley's a left-handed hitter. Juan Soto that the Astros are going to see on opening day. You need one of those guys, and now you got a guy like Hader, especially with them stat numbers that I just showed.
absolutely.
So, Joshua Petrash, what's going on, man? We appreciate you hanging on to the show. Like we said, this is our first live YouTube live, I guess you could say too. So appreciate y'all
Yes.
guys hanging around with us. We appreciate the support. But now, Angel, I got to ask you this. I mean, closer looking at the back end of this Astros bullpen, like I was saying in the beginning, you have Josh Hader, you have Brian Abreu, you have Ryan Presley. When the Astros got this deal done with Hader, you're thinking, okay, well, 95 million. I don't think Presley's going to be that closer anymore. But you never know because Ryan Presley, I mean, he's doing a great job in his role as a closer. But the thing is, he is getting up with age, but his postseason stats are phenomenal. I think Chandler Rome had posted that. Them are great stats. Of course, you've seen the regular season, how he goes. So if I had to, ask you, do you think Presley will be okay moving maybe into a setup man role now? Or do you think with Joe Espada looking into it, he's like, you know what, we're going to give Ryan Presley the benefit of the doubt, being the closer because he's been with this team so long. He knows what he's doing. What do you think? Give me your aspect of it.
I feel like when you're paying a guy that 95 million as a closer, that's your closer.
Yeah.
Like I understand that Ryan Presley has been great, most saves in the postseason, coming back from another great year. But as a competitor, as a teammate, I think you put the team first and then your ego aside, right?
Mhm.
So I think the Astros have their closer, and that's Josh Hader. Now the eighth man will probably either switch before between Presley and Brian Brady depending on matchups or what they like better. But for the most part, Hader's the guy. I think Presley will be okay. He's a professional. Um, he wasn't a closer with Minnesota as well, so he's used to that eighth inning row. So I don't see a big issue here.
I don't think so either. I think Ryan Presley's that type of guy. He, like you said, he's a class guy. I think he's gonna put the team first, if anything, before himself. And like I said, I believe I saw a tweet too that Chandler had posted about Ryan Presley, about him not being no classless guy. He's going to be that guy to put the team first ahead. And of course, people were asking. It was like, okay, they got their closer with Hader now. Well, what's going to happen to Ryan Presley? Do you trade him at this point?
Right.
Well, the thing is with Presley, you can't trade him because he has a no trade clause when
Even
he
if they
signed
could.
that extension. Yeah, and I wouldn't even think in the if he didn't have that no trade clause, I don't think the Astros would have given him up, honestly. So, but of course, you're thinking about it now. Presley's 35 years old. Hader's 29. You do the math right there, and like Angel was saying, you paid him 95 million to be your closer. I think the guy's going to be your closer unless some matchups kind of differentiate. Um, lefty on lefty, righty on righty. Of course, too, the days who has some short days off, that's going to come into play. You've seen Brian Abreu take over that closing role whenever Ryan Presley pitched like back to back to back games. So that'll be, I mean, that's a great thing to have in your bullpen, honestly. A closer like Hader, Brian Abreu's done, some closing duties at the time, and then Ryan Presley as well. So we're doing good, Josh. I mean, I hope you're having a great start to your weekend. Um, Astros, I mean, got their guy. That's what we're talking about here. And I just think it's a great pickup for the Astros.
Now, knowing that Hector Neris wanted like almost half of what Hader wanted, um do you think he is 34, Neris is, so you think the Astros were like, you know what, might as well get the younger, they pay a little bit more, get the younger arm, that, or you think there was like any, hesitation signing Josh Hader just because you could get Neris back, or you think Hader was the guy all along?
I honestly think the age difference could have been a part of it because Crane doesn't really give out big time
Yeah.
contracts. He doesn't give like 5+ years. So I think this was the right move, especially with him being so young. I don't think he's had any injuries in the past. Knocking on wood right now that he doesn't. But getting a guy like Hader, yeah, the age difference could have been a factor. No offense to Hector Neris because Neris did a great job in his Astros tenure with them 2 years. I mean, both years he went to the World Series and ALCS. One game, another game away from the World Series as well.
Yeah. And again, I think the Astros, did a really good job of keeping their ace in their sleeve, like, keeping their tricks to themselves, because like we've heard in the past that Jim Crane doesn't like signing guys long term. You were saying that maybe Kata could be the guy in the earlier podcast. And again, this is the biggest contract he's had for a free agent as well.
Yeah.
So, and Daniel Brown, like we said earlier, that he did not want to spend a lot of money on, a big reliever and stuff like that, just to save, that don't want to go over the CBA tax. But this got me thinking of what Crane's mindset was. And here's a quote per Brian McTaggert of what Crane had to say on the Hader signing. He said, "We think we have a good team, and it adds a big piece to the back of our bullpen. With Presley and Abreu, we have three quality guys, 7, 8, 9, wherever they pitch. We think it gives us a nice chance to get to the playoffs and make a run at another World Series." And I think Crane finally understood what I think most Astros fans were preaching as well, that sometimes you just got to sign them, right? Sometimes you got to
Yeah.
make the move when it's right. And to extend this like dynasty run that they're in, because I think that was a big worry that the Astros are making moves, that they think this is I feel like every dynasty has to fall, and this might
Hmm.
maybe like 2022 was their peak, and now they're in the descent. But I think this kind of changes that. I think. What's
Yeah.
your input on that?
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it does. Um, and like we talked about in the last episode, I think the bullpen is going to be a key going into a playoff series. You saw how that it
Yeah.
was last year in Game 7 of the ALCS. The Astros just were depleted at the end of that game. I mean, they threw everybody that they could: JP France, Hunter Brown, Rafael Montero, Brian Abreu again. You need a successful bullpen if you're going to go to the World Series once again. You saw
Yeah,
that in
and we talked about that.
2019 with, yeah, we saw that in 2019 with the Nationals, Dodgers in 20, the Braves in 2021 is a great example. And then, of course, the Astros had a great bullpen in 2022. So you could see that pattern of having successful bullpens, having great arms is going to help you reach that top goal of winning a World Series. So
Yeah,
adding a guy like this could put you at the top.
absolutely. And then it's kind of funny because we just talked about this in the past podcast as well. The previous one that the back end of the bullpen sometimes wins you that championship, and the
Mhm.
Astros are looking into that. And Crane did have a little bit more to say. He said, "We try to make moves to win. That's what is that is one thing is about that was going right and what just got it and what it got done. We're happy we did it, and if we had to do something else down the road, that's a possibility too." Interesting. I like that. So now that we heard Crane's words, so do you think the Astros are done making moves either now in free agency or even down the line, like down the line in the trade deadline?
Hearing that quote actually makes me think they might make one more move before spring training. I
Oh,
have a gut
okay.
feeling. I have a gut feeling. If it doesn't happen in spring training, you could look at the trade deadline. And as we talked about before, the Astros don't have a strong farm system. So it's going to be very tough if they're going to go at somebody at the deadline. They're going to have to give up a prospect, not maybe not the top prospect, but they're going to have to give some prospects up.
Mhm.
If you're going to do that right now, I would say go ahead and, you're over the CBT like we're talking about. You might as well spend another couple mil here and there. It just depends on the player. It just depends on the money situation too, because of how much you'll be taxed later in the long run. So I wouldn't be surprised, like I said, if Crane and Dana Brown make another move before spring training. I don't know if that's either an extension. I don't know if that's a signing from the free agency aspect, a trade maybe, but I think one more move I feel that the Astros could make.
Okay. I wouldn't say, I think if they're gonna do something like before spring training, I would say
Mhm.
maybe like a cheap reliever, like a
Yeah,
guy they can get for like a couple $1 million or even they get lucky less than that. But I know again, two big factors that the Astros were missing was maybe like a bat in the outfield, either right-handed or left-handed, and a bullpen. Well, to me, I would say the bat is a little more pricier, so I think they saved that a little bit for the trade deadline.
hmm
And I think most of them, like for me, I think they're set. Like I
yeah,
think they're set unless they get like a cheap bat or a cheap arm from free agency. But I think we're looking at more. This is what they're gonna go for opening day, and then they're gonna see their weaknesses and strength down the season, and then in the trade deadline make a deal that's going to put them over the edge. I think that's the game plan. Again, as you know, I was wrong this past
this
podcast, so I
past
could be wrong
episode.
in past episode. But you know that again, we don't know what's going on in their brains. It's just with the experience I've seen with baseball, this is what I think could happen.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. It could be a small one, but reminding everybody that the Astros 40-man roster is set. So with the addition of Hader, they're gonna have to make some room to get somebody off the list of the 40-man to put Hader on the roster. So it'll be interesting what move they make. Probably a DFA possibility. Let us know your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think they need to add another bat, another arm? Do they even add anybody at this point? Let us know. What do you think in the comments? So, but the offseason, Angel, it looks like it might be coming into an end because
Yeah.
February 14, pitchers and catchers report to West Palm Beach. 4 or 5 days later, I think it's February 19. I don't have it at the top of my head right now. The whole squad goes to West Palm Beach, and that is their first official workout. So last time we talked about the offseason, their grades, it was the post winter meetings. We both gave our grades of, getting the signing from Victor Caratini to getting Dylan Coleman. I said they had a B minus. You gave the the grade of a B. So now here we are, another acquisition, another signing. What grade are you giving the Astros offseason after this signing and as of, before spring training?
Okay. I would say an A. I think the Josh Hader move not only sits well with Astros fans, but with players too. Making a move like this just gives a bolster to that clubhouse. It lets the players know that you're ready to win. You believe in these guys, that being able to bolster this bullpen, and it just shows them that they all have the same goal, and that's to win. Now, I would say in order to receive an A+, they will need to add another reliever or maybe another outfit, like I talked about earlier. But I think they're done. Again, I could be wrong, just because they are over that CBA trend, and they might wait to the second tier of that. I'm not sure, but it could also be the mindset like we're already over. Might as well just, like you said, might as well just keep spending. But I give them an A. I like the move. I think it's really like bolsters up that clubhouse, and we all have the same mind.
Yeah, definitely. Joshua, I think bringing back Neris will complete the
Hmm.
bullpen. Ooh, man, I think that might be tough to bring him after getting
Yeah,
the numbers on this contract. So, I
but
mean,
the
it'd
game
be
will be over
nice.
in the sixth inning.
Yeah, basically, you'll have Neris, Hader, Abreu, and Presley. That'd be nice for the bullpen, but I don't know if the money situation with Neris would, go off of that. He even put his thoughts real quick. He said, "I give them an A+. He's with you on the A's. So
Okay.
real quick, I'm gonna put my grade. I'm gonna give it a B+. I'm
Ooh,
flirting with
harsh,
an A- though. I'm
harsh.
I'm I'm like in the 89 to 90 grade average. You know in
Okay.
college is like B+, 85 to 89, and it's like 90 to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
94, I think, for A- or
That's about
something like
right.
that. Sounds about right. We're not
It's been a
professors.
while.
We're not deans. But anyway, I'm on the flirt with the A- just for the fact that I think they could get an extension either with Altuve, either with Tucker. You never know. The money situation though doesn't look like it's gonna be getting any extensions coming up soon, like for Tucker or Valdez or even Bregman, but possibly Altuve. You never know what can happen with that. We've seen some in the past of getting people signed before spring training. Remind you, Christian Javier was just this recent past last year. He got signed before spring training started. Jose Altuve was another. I believe Lance McCullers and Ryan Presley were some other names as well. But yeah, I've learned with an A-. If they could get maybe another bat or an extension done, I think you're at the point of saying an A. So I think this team has they have the squad to go back and do at the World Series. I've seen some tweets that it still runs through Houston because of course the Rangers did win the World Series. Do you agree with that? Do you think that it still runs through Houston to win the World Series, even though the Rangers just won a World Series?
I mean, I would say so. The Astros won the division. Like, let's not forget that. I mean, it did happen, and the Astros still made it to the American League Championship Series, the AFCOS. So, what did the Rangers have to do? Run through Houston, right? So, I think it's, I think it still is.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it now, when you remember in the beginning, everybody was getting their predictions, even baseball analysts from MLB Network, MLB.com, everybody was given their point of where Hader was going, and I mean, a lot of people were thinking either the Rangers, which was the top one, or the New York Yankees.
Yeah,
And look
which
what
is
just
fair,
happened right there. I don't think, like I said, nobody thought Houston would have signed Josh Hader.
especially
Just
about
the
what they were saying too.
Yeah.
Like the hints they were giving out, there was no hints giving out that hey, we want this guy or anything like that. They're literally complete opposite.
Mhm. Definitely. Astro Wharf Craig had to say, I was satisfied. I was satisfied before Graveman went down. Now I'm over the moon. That's very true. I mean, you got to be over the moon hearing this spot of Josh Hader becoming a Houston Astro. But this is second time with Houston. Now you're going to see him in Nationals uniform for 5 years. What, till 2029? Correct?
Yeah, 2029.
So it'll be interesting to see what he brings to the table. I think it's going to be great for the city of Houston. Of course, FanFest is tomorrow. If you're listening to this, it is today, but we're recording this on a Friday live on X and live on YouTube. I think a lot of fans are going to be happy going into Minute Maid Park tomorrow to either go play catch on the field with their kids. I think promotions too they have on sale. A lot of fun activities for the kids and for the families to go do clubhouse tours, things like that. Yeah, even autographs with the players. You get to talk to the players and interact with them. Maybe get their view of this trade. I'm not this trade, this signing. It's gonna be fun.
Absolutely.
Last one before
Absolutely.
we get off. Last one before we get off. Josh said it's worth noting that the Rangers are on the verge of losing their TV rights deal, and I think that has prevented them from making any big splashes. Interesting.
I think Bally Sports is on the verge of signing a deal with Amazon Prime to help
Man, I
that.
think
So,
that's a good. I think that's a good network to work with.
and then
Imagine,
I believe, and like I believe, I think I read into where all those teams that have like Bally Sports that are with that thing, you can watch the games on Amazon Prime as well. So pretty nice because I know that MLB has those blackouts. I wonder if that's gonna like I wonder if that like takes that away. So that'd be interesting to see too.
you're gonna see a lot of. I mean, you just saw that with football this year. Amazon Prime Blackout Friday game. I mean, Amazon's starting to change it, dude.
Yeah,
Be interesting if they do these Amazon Prime games because now you get to watch it. I'm pretty sure MLB still has their deal with Apple TV as well.
yeah, yeah. I'm
A lot
sure.
of streaming happening in this world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that a whole conversation. Like we don't want to steer what the podcast is about. Astro signing Josh Hader, but it was really good, really good move.
Yeah, very great move because now the Astros look like the position that they're in. They look like they're going to be winning more to come. You never know what can happen now. Like Angel said, Crane could go and sign somebody else, or maybe just wait till the trade deadline, or you just never know. You never know. I don't think anybody expected Crane to spend 95 million on Josh Hader, but I think a lot of Astro fans are happy the fact that they got a prime reliever in Hader.
Absolutely.
But till then, have a great rest of y'all day. Enjoy Texas play. Don't forget Texas
Three
play on
thirty.
Saturday. Yep, 3:30 or 3:15, one of them times. So if you're a H Town supporter, go support the Texans. Like we said, Astros Fan Fest is this Saturday at Minute Maid Park. So if you got your tickets or if you don't know where to get tickets, it is online, astros.com/fanfest. I think it's what, a
And
dollar to get in?
yeah, about daughter. And then also
Dollar.
go check on your friends who are Dallas Cowboys fans. They might not be doing so hot this week. So call them, check on them, see how they're doing.
They said that there might be one real Texas, football team out there, and there's the Houston Texans right now.
Well, they do
So
have more playoff wins in last since like I think
the
2000.
inaugural season of the Texans, 2002.
Yeah, there is
So
more. The Texans have more playoff wins.
last comment, I promise. Last comment. Someone said Sugar. That's my sport. Sugar Diaz is better. LOL. I think he's talking. Oh no, 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 no.
Edwin
He's
Diaz,
talking.
isn't
I know he's talking about Edwin Diaz.
it? Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know. We'll see how this season wraps up. I I
I'm
haven't.
excited. I'm excited though to see Edwin Diaz back on the field
Yeah,
again. I am
yeah,
excited to see
yeah.
that. It's been too long.
Unfortunate injury that happened to him. Like you said, I haven't really kept tabs on his recovery process, but I'm sure he'll be on the mound this year. And it was an Achilles, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I want to say it was. That's my sports can help us out in like 1 minute. Then maybe we could give it out. But I do want to say it was an Achilles injury. But just seeing him back on the field, I mean, Mets fans has to be happy about that because they gave him that big contract, and the next thing, the unfortunate injury. But him closing out games, it's always exciting, especially when you got trumpets. Oh, he said it was an ACL.
Oh, I see. Okay. No, good because I was gonna say because it was an Achilles. That reminds me of like Mike Soroka. Uh, so he's still not recovered for that, and he actually ruptured again. So I was like, hopefully it doesn't happen. But if it's an ACL, I think he can be back on the mound.
Yeah, Joshua didn't even know it was a Bally Sports deal was going to Amazon.
Well,
Look at
it's
that, Angel.
still in
You're
the
breaking
talks.
coverage. Yeah, it's still in the
Well,
talks, but
it's in the talks. Nothing's official yet, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, if y'all haven't followed us at Full Steam Ahead on Twitter, TikTok, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be trying to do these YouTube lives more if we can. Of
Yeah,
course,
that'd be
we
great.
we do have the rest of our days ahead of us, but of course, baseball season's coming, and we'll try our best to do a YouTube live. Not every game, but for the series like we always do with our podcast. But if you don't follow us at Full Steam Ahead on Twitter, X, wherever you call that app, YouTube, FSA Full Steam Ahead on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go leave us a comment on our YouTube channel on our podcast platforms from Amazon. Amazon. No, we don't have. Man, we've been talking
No,
about
no, no,
Amazon
no.
so much. Spotify, Apple, Google. Go give us a rate. Go give us a
Tell your
like,
friends.
comment, like we said. Tell all your friends. Um, we appreciate the help and support that y'all give us out there. That's my sports. We really appreciate that. In all seriousness, though, you guys have great content. Love the
Appreciate
Wagner
that.
and Ensberg interview. Yes, we do appreciate that. And like we said, we have more interviews to come for the season, especially coming up. We'll have some former, we'll have some current players will go up there. Of course, look at our interview. Yeah, like he was saying with Billy Wagner and Morgan Ensberg, because it's almost here, Angel.
Yeah.
Hall of
Isn't
Fame
it next week?
announcement's almost there. Tuesday. Yeah. Don't forget, January 23rd is when they announce the Hall of Fame. So we appreciate y'all's time to, listen to us and give, hear our thoughts about this. But until then, y'all have a safe and blessed weekend.
Peace.